Hi everyone, welcome back. After staying in Chiang Mai for about half a year, we have gone on a few road trips. And one thing that always catches our attention is the railway tracks. I personally find it very fascinating that this mode of transportation, which has been around long before I was born, is still actively in use today. So in this video, I'm capturing and painting a colorful scene at a train track junction. A striking mix of red, white, yellow, and black color. I'll also be sharing a bit about our experience test riding the locomotives, so stay tuned for that. I always start by placing the main elements I've chosen for my sketch. This step shouldn't take too long. It's mainly about drawing a rough outline of where everything will go, without getting into the details yet. So this time I'm using a pastel pencil so that when the watercolor goes over it will not be washed away. And I'm also being more mindful about how many elements I include in the composition, making sure not to overcrowd the small space with too many details. I've talked more about this point in my previous video, so feel free to check it out if you are interested. I start by painting the background of the scene, being careful not to paint over the signboards, especially the parts that are meant to stay white color. This step feels a little like working with watercolor because I need to let the first layer dry completely before I can add a second layer which will have a darker tone. I've used the same technique in some of my other gouache videos too, so you can check those out on my channel. And if you would like to follow along with more of my painting process, feel free to subscribe so that you will be notified when a new video is up. If you notice, I'm using a very limited color palette for this painting. Just 5 colors: blue, red, yellow, white, black. But even with these few colors, there are actually endless tones and shades that you can create from them. So would you be interested in seeing how I set up a fresh palette and try to experiment with different new colors with mixing and then create a new color chart? If you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments below, okay? Because I can plan for a video for it if you will like to see it. I've been consistently using a flat brush to paint the background and now some of the shapes in the foreground. A flat brush is great for quickly blocking in different shapes and tones. At this stage, I'm starting to add in some details and thinking at the same time also how I want the background to take shape. Now I'm going to use opaque white from the beamybeam gouache to paint over some parts of the background. Since I'm not mixing it with any other color, this acrylic gouache will work perfectly well as a solid base layer. I'm now starting to add the details, still working with shapes, just smaller ones this time. I feel like the background can stay quite abstract, and that's okay. I treat this painting like a sketch, so it doesn't need to be very defined or very precise. The shapes don't have to be perfectly accurate. It's more of an expression than exactness. And I'm also playing with the colors, the stronger shadow colors and tones at this time. It's almost 5 minutes into this video. Are you ready for some train ride with me? Let's go!
真的很像巴士哎。
This is the railway station at Lamphun. It is actually an operating railway station, very traditional. So it's really an eye-opener for us. We actually got our ticket from this station to ride back to Chiang Mai railway station where we started. And to and fro each way, it only takes a few stops because we only like going to the next province. And it takes about only half an hour to get there. It is really a once-in-a-lifetime experience for the kids and myself, especially since there is no railway service back home. It is actually our first time riding a train, and myself is so excited as well. My eldest son actually planned this short trip for the four of us while father was back to Singapore to work. It felt like quite an adventure for me because I had never gone out exploring on my own before. In many ways, I feel like my two older children, my son and my daughter, are far more courageous when it comes to trying something new like this. Our only goal in Lamphun was simple: to find a place to eat, which was the most important destination for us. Even though we weren't sure if there would be any Grab car services back to Chiang Mai, we decided to go ahead anyway since it wasn't too far from where we lived. And that's the reason why we later on have to get a ticket from the train station to ride back to Chiang Mai because there is no Grab car. We also trust the warmth and hospitality of the Thai people, so much of what we have experienced already in Chiang Mai. So we just go ahead. I hope you enjoyed this short locomotive ride with me. I'll be continuing to create more Chiang Mai paintings from the videos I've captured, many of which I never expected would one day become part of a YouTube video like this. It's a wonderful way for me to finally share our 2.5 years of living abroad. It's a good conclusion, I guess, for this journey. As I reached the final stage of this gouache painting, you will notice that I start using thicker paints and smaller brushes to work on the final details. I try to place each shape directly from what I can observe in the reference photo and get it as close as possible down into my painting. Of course, nothing is ever truly perfect. Okay, and that's exactly what makes a painting so special compared to any AI-generated image. It's the human touch that gives it uniqueness and personality. At this stage, I usually switch to my small, round and flat detail brushes to finish off the painting. Then I will add the final touch with other mediums like my color pencils or my black micron pens and white gel pens. Today's video is coming to an end soon. I hope you enjoyed this process. If you'd like to follow more of my painting journey in Chiang Mai, don't forget to subscribe. I also have another playlist dedicated to sketching experiments and creative ideas on very thin notebook Japanese paper. So you can feel free to check that out too if you are interested, okay? So alright, that's all for today. Bye for now, and I will see you again soon. Thank you.